So if you've seen the poster or the trailers for this new film, Beast, you would be under the impression this is a 90-minute ride of Idris Elba fighting against a lion. And wouldn't you know it, this is a 90-minute movie of Idris Elba fighting a lion. What's up, guys, and welcome to my review of Beast. Now, this is a film that was not on my radar until very recently. I saw the trailer a couple of times over the past month, and while I am very much hit or miss when it comes to animal attack movies or monster flicks like this, I'm a big fan of Idris Elba. I'm an even bigger fan of Charlton Copley, and it's been a long time since I've seen a movie with a pretty kick-ass, terrifying lion. So I checked this thing out in a double feature with Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. That review is already up on my channel if you're curious about checking out that one. And what did I think of Beast? Did I have a better time with this than I did with Bodies, Bodies, Bodies? Starting off with the positives, the main two things that drew me to this film was the two best things of the film, and that's the performances of Idris Elba and Charlton Copley. Idris Elba is one of those guys that I just can't help but like in any movie that he's in, whether he's playing a good guy, a bad guy, somewhere in the middle. That guy just oozes charisma, oozes charm. He's a movie star. Whether or not he has reached that A-list status yet or not, I have no confidence that he will be there one day. And you have Charlton Copley, who is a guy that does not show up very often, but every time that he does, he's the best part of the movie. He's one of those actors that just nails every single character that he is given. He's got this gravitas, he's got this confidence on screen that is unparalleled with most actors, and I just wish I could see this guy in more, because he, to me, was the standout character of this movie, even if he was sparingly used throughout the runtime. And I'll also praise the fact that this movie delivers exactly what it advertises. There's no fat, there's no surprises, there's no hidden things within the plot of this film. It is literally a group of people stuck in a car with a lion is roaming around ready to fuck them up. And if you are into those types of movies, if you like films like The Shallows and Crawl, those human versus much more powerful animal type situations, this is a movie for you. And for the most part, it delivers all the thrills that you would expect with that premise. There's a lot of mauling, there's some killing, there's a decent amount of blood here. It is rated R. It's not full-blown gratuitous, but it certainly earns that rating. And there is a good bit of tension throughout, because they're always showing the movie through the perspective of the human characters. You're never given any kind of a warning or any kind of a preconceived idea of where the lion is or where he is going to show up. So whenever the lion shows up, it is going to jolt your nervous system, it is going to rise the tension, it is going to keep you on the edge of your seat. And I like that experience with a monster or an animal attack film. If I can see everything coming, it kind of defeats the purpose. I also think the movie did a very good, efficient job at giving you just enough exposition, just enough characterization in the opening act of the film to give you an idea of all of the different characters you're dealing with. You know just enough about them, their relationships with each other, to where when you get into this life-threatening situation that logically is not going to spend a whole lot of time with character development, you don't feel like you were robbed in the character department. You don't feel like you never got to meet these people, or you never got to find out anything to really engage or latch onto them. You get just enough to get you where you need to go. And finally, I think the movie did a good job at introducing some elements into the first act of the film, giving us some lines of dialogue, some information that is very valuable to the third act of the film and comes full circle and pays off very well by the end of the film, without showing too much that they were setting up things, without putting too much of a spotlight on. Keep this in mind, everybody. And it's good when a movie can find that subtle balance, because if you show your hand too early, we know throughout the entire runtime how they're going to get out of this situation, how they're going to dispatch this lion. And when they finally got to the third act of the film, when it's go or die time, I thought the way that the writing called back to info in the first act was actually pretty satisfying. Overall, guys, this movie was fine. Like, I'm not somebody that gets overly excited about animal attack films or monster films. There's maybe one or two in my entire lifetime that I genuinely think are awesome, Jaws being one of them, something that's just impossible of a bar for any movie since Jaws to reach. If you're somebody that loves this type of movie, if you love this subgenre, you're probably going to enjoy it much more than I did. But even as somebody who is casual and very hit or miss with this genre, I had a good enough time with it. Now moving on to the negatives, and while I try my best not to think too hard about a movie that's going for a very silly, larger-than-life concept, there were some things in the execution of this story and in the writing that did bug me throughout. I think that all of the characters, namely Idris Elba, had an outstanding amount of plot armor in this movie, to the point where I was getting frustrated during some of the lion attacks, where I'm like, oh, no, there's no reason why you would not have died right there, aside from the movie just needed you to live another 45 minutes. And so when you have a situation like this, I think it strains the movie's credibility. I think it takes away some of the tension when you're experiencing these sequences that just don't feel right. They don't seem like they should be as easily dispensed or as easily survived as they are throughout the film. And so they could have done a better job with that. And going along with that, I think that Idris Elba's oldest daughter is trying for the award of dumbest movie character of 2022. There is about 4 or 5 events throughout this film where this character does the dumbest, most infuriating fucking action that you could possibly think to do in that situation. Once is forgivable, twice is annoying, 4 or 5 times, and I'm straight up just cussing this character out throughout the movie. I mean, you got a scene where they're trying to evade the lion and she's honking the horn on the Jeep that they're stuck in. There's a scene where Idris Elba goes off by himself on like this sneaking mission to try to obtain this item, and she calls him on his fucking walkie-talkie. There's a point where he says, "Stay here, stay in the Jeep, stay your fucking ass right here." And as soon as he goes to do what he's trying to achieve, that little bitch gets out the Jeep and runs, and I'm like, fucking just kill her. Just take her. You two run. She's a sacrifice. Most people that watch this film are probably not going to be as aggravated as I am, but I'm somebody that it's one of my pet peeves when you have a horror movie or a thriller where the writing requires characters to be stupid in order to make the plot move forward. I just think that that's lazy writing. And my final negative, I think that this CGI lion looks fine in this movie, and they certainly did not hide that in the marketing, that it was going to be a completely CGI animal, but just like I said with my Prey review here recently, I'm just at the point where I don't really engage with full CGI creatures yet. If it's not top tier CGI, which most movies that come out are not, it just has that uncanny valley that prevents me from really engaging with the tension that's intended with these sequences. I know the entire time that Idris Elba is fighting a video game graphic. All in all, guys, decent time at the movies. Not a movie that requires you to see it in theaters. It'll be a perfectly fine experience at home. Know who you are. If you love these types of movies, you're probably going to enjoy it. If you're a very hard sell with these types of movies, there's nothing in here that's really going to win you over that some other movies haven't done better. Well, that's it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed this review, please click over here for my playlist of my other 2022 new release reviews. I'm also going to put my review of Bodies that I was talking about, so you can check out all of my interesting thoughts on that one. Please like and share this video and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything in the future. And remember, opinions are like assholes, but that doesn't mean that you have to be.